right, welcome back to In His Mind. This will be on prayer, and I'll be driving for a couple minutes, so bear with me here. I have to agree with my father on what he said about prayer with me as far as Jesus advocating on our behalf and how we can come to the throne of God through prayer anytime that we want. I do agree with that. I see that. I know that. And coming across some of the other people talking about how prayer is actually essential for our lives, I do feel the need to point out that other people, to speak out on what other people point out to me, as far as that the more prayer that we have in our lives, the better, the more pure and holy we try to become, to pursue. It's not about whether or not we're successful. It's the fact that we pursue this and that we choose to put off the old, put on the new, to keep what is ungodly, what is unclean, unpure out of our lives. Basically, push away the stuff that causes issues, problems, sin, all of that stuff, and to keep it out of our lives as much as we can, and to pursue what we believe is to be right. And for those who are Christians, we're going to center that around what is in the Bible, Scripture, and Jesus. Jesus as being the prime example. That being said, and it's also interesting, I will link a video down below as far as with some ex-warlocks and other people who have, like, ex-witches. They've talked about the power of prayer and how it has prevented them from interfering and hurting more Christians. Prayer is like a gateway, a passage that has prevented harm done to other Christians. And there's been other stories that I've heard that other people have said about prayer protecting others. I think there's a lot of wisdom there to stop, to think, and to see what applies to you as far as with what areas you could do better. As far as these stories, though, where prayer has been involved, where protection was granted and given, and people were kept safe. The best example that comes to mind would be with Daniel in the lion's den with his three friends. They were kept safe. There was also the time with Paul in prison where he was prayed for and he was allowed to escape, and the chains fell off. The two guards that were on his the left or right were executed because they were found to be asleep and negligent with their duties. Prayer matters. And if ex-warlocks and ex-witches are actually talking about how prayer has prevented them, shouldn't you have more prayer in your life then? It's hard to see some of this stuff. It really is, until you see what you are being blessed with and what is missing you. The problems, the issue, the trauma, all of that. It is hard to see some of this because of, you're not actually knowing what you're missing, but you can get an idea of what you actually are missing by looking at other people's lives, the consequences, the good and the bad. And you get a better idea of this. Now, I'm changing a lot of what I know about this only because I didn't realize that prayer was as important as what other people have told me. First and foremost would be my father. He has told me quite a bit about prayer over time. And when it comes down to a lot of this, let's go back to that one Bible verse that talks about how as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And even if I am right, having more to talk about this, more background, more points in Scripture to point out on this topic, the better and more knowledgeable and the more accurate that I will be. I am not necessarily looking to debate other people, but just to point out what I know and what they may not know, what they may not realize or understand. We all will have to come to a conclusion on this in our own lives. it just so happens that, unlike most other people, having that entity in my life has significantly changed things to the point where asking questions about some of this stuff again has been incredibly helpful. I never asked for any of this, but I'll do the best that I can with what I have. And going through what I've gone through, it's given me a heart that has realized quite a bit. Prayer and wanting to see other people succeed and go further are just two parts of this. This is not a ministry, and it never will be. It doesn't work like that. And I fought long and hard about that. So as far as when it comes down to praying, I usually pray for myself, those near me, those who I know, and I do a general, specific, but repetitive prayer for all those who I don't know. Because the one thing that has been laid upon my own heart is the fact that if God's not moving and we are not being influenced, we're not having God speak out to us, I feel like there's a lot more harm that is allowed into our lives. And so simply asking God to move in our lives, move in our lives and to open our eyes so that we can see and better understand what's going on is one of those things that I believe is very important. I do believe in preparation in the future as well. So praying for support and preparation is what I'm talking about right here. All right, just want to spend a couple minutes talking about prayer, and I hope this helps someone out there. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Please just put down what's on your heart, and I will get back to y'all later. I got some work to do. All right, take it easy.